Okay, I want to talk about several things here. We haven't really talked about the mixer. The mixer is pretty much self-explanatory. This is where you turn up the levels of the various oscillators. And in more in-depth videos, I'll show you, how you can balance different oscillator outputs, etc. But basically, the mixer is made up of these volume levels of the three oscillators, noise, and whatever externally is happening. But since we're talking about the filter, I want to talk about this part of the mixer over here. We have something really cool going on, which is to say you can direct the output of individual oscillators to individual filters, the Steiner or the ladder or both, simply by pressing the button. As you can see right here, our filter setting is going to this orange circle. The Steiner is the orange. The other circle is green. The ladder is green. So right now it's going to the Steiner. We can direct them to the ladder filter or both. I probably don't need to explain to you how amazing that is when you can direct for example, one oscillator to one filter and the other oscillator to the other filter. You can get really unique and diverse sounds. Here's where we can hear. We'll turn down the ladder filter's output and we'll listen to what's coming into the Steiner from VCO1. And we can listen to what's coming out of oscillator 2 and going into the ladder filter. And they're both very different sounds. So your possibilities are ridiculous. I mean, it just immediately gets absolutely ridiculous when you can define your oscillator timbre to such a huge degree, and then you can define which filter it goes to in tandem or separately. It just gets really quite amazing. Here, let's switch these. Now, oscillator 2 is going into the Steiner. And oscillator 1 is going into the ladder. Both happening at once. We'll throw in the triangle that's happening in VCO3 just for fun. It's difficult because I'd like to show you the breadth of your possibility here, but as you just saw in the various filter videos, it took me just running through each different function took forever. So, I mean, your possibilities are just endless. You have two different types of, you have two different filters that are, in one case, 4 different types of filter, 3 different types of filter, 2 different types of filter cutoff slope. So, I mean, this is just a place where I have to say, and this is uncustomary for me, I can't possibly demonstrate all of the different permutations of this functionality. They've made it infinite. And I'm sorry if there's a mathematician out there who's saying, well, technically, I don't know. But definitely the complexity is immense. And so there's another thing to take into account here. So this is a delight for an analog synth player. Okay, we also have the routing that's going on here. You'll notice there's a routing button, and then there's this diagram which shows a light and then something being split into a orange box and a green box. Our orange box is the Steiner filter, our green box is the ladder filter. What this is saying is it is a parallel distribution of the oscillators. So what we're hearing when we hear an oscillator split between the two filters is exactly that. The oscillator's output is going to both the Steiner filter and to the ladder filter simultaneously to be affected differently by those different filters. But we have another option here, which is a consecutive sequential direction. And when we choose that, first of all, you lose the opportunity to direct the output of one of the mixer channels to the ladder filter. And why is that? It's because it's already going to the ladder filter. It's going in sequence from the Steiner to the ladder. And then you have the opportunity to shape your sound more directly. It creates a very, very different sound to run these two, consecutively. So like, for example, let's turn the Steiner's cutoff all the way up and turn the effects off and turn off the resonance. And then we are more likely to hear what's happening in the ladder filter. But it's still different because it is still running through the Steiner filter. And then if we start doing things like, changing the type of filter it is, you'll get a lot of different sounds. This is, again, it just gets ridiculous trying to assess how many different permutations you're facing in this situation. And also, when you have it set to the split between the two filters, it's great. But like when you put it in this consecutive routing, you can do things like, hey, let's take the Steiner and put it in low pass, 12 decibel per octave low pass, and then let's put the ladder in high pass, 12 decibel per octave high pass. And what you've just done is, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember the sequence, but in general, you've just emulated the MS-20 because that's what you have with the MS-20. You have a 12 decibel per octave low pass self oscillating resonant filter, low pass and high pass, and they're running in sequence like this. So you can get some of the really raucous sounds that the MS-20 generates by setting it up in this configuration. And yeah, it's hard to even describe how many different possibilities you're going to run into with filters of this complexity, with routing of this complexity. So, yeah, that's a thing you're going to have to experiment with, because I could go on and on demonstrating what happens with each knob turn, and it's going to be something new and completely different. It's hugely powerful. And then we're still not done. We still have the master cutoff. Master cutoff. So what the master cutoff does is it takes the filter cutoffs where they are and treats that as zero, or it does. It treats that as zero. And then you have the ability to turn it down 99 points or turn it up 99 points. So it allows you to set your filters in different positions and then sweep both of them simultaneously. And if you sort of plan things out, you can create some really cool sounds by, doing like taking two different bandpass filters, putting them at different points. So you could hear, you just heard the two different filters going off at different points along the spectrum and creating interesting sounds. And yeah, there's so much you can do with this. It's something I love from the Yamaha CS15. The Brilliance slider does the same thing, and I think it's just an incredibly infinite tool. And you can do things like pit filters against each other, put one in low pass and one in high pass. And then when you turn the filter cutoff lower, the low pass is going to suck away all of the sound and the high pass is going to be revealed. I mean, so you can really, you have amazing control with using this master cutoff to create some really cool sounds. And I don't think it's an accident that it is a big, nice feeling knob right in the middle of the synthesizer that you could grab at any moment, and you're almost guaranteed to get a really cool outcome. I am against constantly diving for the filter cutoff to get a cool sound, especially on a synth like this, where you have so many options of things that you can turn to get a cool sound. You know, everyone goes for the filter. However, because of this master cutoff knob, because everything that it does sounds so cool depending on your filter settings, it's good. It's a thing you should do. You should definitely dive for this knob. Yeah, I could sit and turn this thing all day, and you just keep changing settings and you're going to get more and more interesting outcomes. Of course, when you put it into the routing, the consecutive routing, then it just acts as a cutoff for both without sort of the cool effects because of the way that it's routed. But still, it's you can dive for it. Really cool effect. And you can always see where the knob is up here in the preset window because turning it shows you the plus 99 or negative 99. So you can get yourself back to 0 if you need to. And that's really convenient. So that is the mixer, filter control, the routing, and the master cutoff.